Hello YouTube. Alright, so in this video I'm going to talk about an insulating layer in the clothing system. This layer for me personally, it really becomes pretty specific in the situation that I'm doing. Keeping your core temperature level and solid will save your life. It'll keep your extremities. It'll add huge comfort levels also. As the blood flows through your extremities and goes through your core, obviously it'll warm everything up. So for me, there's kind of, in this insulating layer, there's two sides to this story for me. There's an insulating layer that's under my shell, and there's an insulating layer that's over my shell. For me, my situation is when ice climbing and mountaineering, you have something like this Patagonia, to where it's a synthetic. It will still keep you warm when it's wet, and it goes over your outer layers because you're pulling it on and off, and it will still keep you plenty warm on the outside of your layers. Then on the other side of that, you have something like this down vest that would be worn under your clothes. Typically for me, where I'm wearing something like that is once I get to camp. I'll throw something like that on where I'm not moving as much, and you've got, like, this is a 700 fill vest, so it really packs a big punch in a small package, and condenses small and is comfortable on your chest, and you don't have big puffy arms. And that's about as far as I go, as far as this goes. Now, once you get into extreme cold temperatures, when you're talking -10 and below, you'll need this same type of layer, kind of in both accounts really, for your legs. I don't spend a huge amount of time in those conditions, so until I need to, I'm good with what I've got. On top of that, I also like a mitt. This mitt is meant to fit on top of a glove. I wear it on top of this. Once conditions really change, this is the wrong hand, but you get the idea. I buy my mitt big enough to fit on top of my gloves. Like I say, it's an over mitt. It's also a synthetic. I believe it's Primaloft. It will keep extremely warm. For me, that is to get my hands warm quickly. Either when I get up in the morning, if I put it on and get my fingers moving and get the warmth in them, it'll hold for a little bit longer. Also, if I've been standing around for a long period of time, it'll help get the warmth up in my fingers, adding dexterity, and it helps. Another thing for this layer that I don't have, but I highly recommend if you're in cold conditions, especially snowy conditions, they actually make booties, down boots, that are just this type of material, maybe with something on the bottom for wearing around camp or wearing to sleep. And I recommend that. We'll probably get some for my girlfriend this year. But yeah, so there's insulating layer, or the heavy insulating layer. It's one of those things, depending on what you do and what you need out of it, it's not a super necessary layer. They work best in conditions below freezing. I would go as far as to say below 10 degrees. Well, from 10 degrees and down is when you really need to get into these layers. Other than that, you should be able to be sufficient with up to your mid layers. So don't run out and just buy one puffy coat. It's not the way to go if you're actually going to be backpacking. So there you go. So there are my quick thoughts on the insulating layer. Thanks a lot, you guys. Get outdoors and make your own food.